Hello everybody. Hi, this is Poonam from Paint and Clay Studio, and I just went live a minute ago and there was some disruptions, so I just thought of going live again. Let a few people join in and then probably I'll start with the live session. Hi. I don't know, do we see comments over here in the live session? I'm not very sure. Okay, I don't think we see the comments. We're able to see the comments. No. Oh, okay. It's okay. So, hello. Uh, so it's okay after the video, after watching the video, you can put down your comments in the comment section below, and probably I'll answer all the queries or whatever you have, whatever questions you have. So there are a few people joining in, and I can see. Let other people also join in, and then probably I'll start with the session. So today's session is based on different kinds of clay. So I have been doing Thai clay flowers since over 18 years now. I don't even remember. And I've not learned it from anyone. So there was this lady who have taught me a few clay flowers when I was in standard 7th. And since that time, I'm continuing with clay flowers. And I have been trying different mediums of clay and different kinds and types of clay. Uh, so so I have been through a lot of varieties of clay also, and so today I'm going to share my experience with you all, and also I'll share the process of mixing colors, what are the different varieties of clay, and this session is going to be really interesting. So uh, I can see a few people joining in, and I think I should get started. So I'll just move to my work table. It's a little messy, but this is what we have. That's my work table. Everybody asks me so many times that how is your work table looking? You can just share your pictures. So this is how my work table looks. And this is a small little corner in my room which I have converted into my workspace. Uh, that portion is a little messy, don't look there. And these are the collection of whatever I could just grab in fast for the tutorial, for the live streaming. That's the dendrobium orchid. It's in white, but I will be very soon going to launch a orchid tutorial into which there will be 3 orchids, and I'm just in the process of making it. So probably very soon I'm gonna add a tutorial for that. These are the beautiful poppies, and this is the banyan tree. Beautiful indeed. I just love the banyan tree. So as I can see a few people joining in, let's start with our session. And I'm just going to flip the camera and start working on the project, because if I keep looking at myself, it's always distracting me. So I'm going to flip the camera and then we'll start working on. That's the camera. I'm just going to set it on the stand. And here we go. This is the latest one. I have made these beautiful starfishes and urchins. These are the beautiful urchins I've made out of clay, and I hope that I could make a tutorial also on this, but right now I'm taking orders for these. These are the urchins, and I'm just going to keep them separate. Okay, so let's begin with the session. So guys, I would like to tell you something about clay. I have been using Thai clay since quite a long period of time. And I remember I was being taught by this lady. She was a foreigner. She came from US to India. And when she was going back, she taught me a few flowers after insist. Like I just went after her for so long. And then while going back, she taught me a few flowers. So I'm just going to share that small little detail with you. So there are different kinds of clays available in our market. And as you guys know that clay is something which is very important to make the flowers. And the better the clay is, it's not about expensive. The clay should be elastic and really very good in texture for making the flowers. So we use Thai clay. This is my Thai clay. This is the one which I have got from Japan, and that's the deco clay. There are different kinds of clays surrounded around us, and I'll just explain you what are the differences between all the clays. So, if you talk about deco clay is all about paper pulp clay. I don't know a lot about it, but it's really lightweight. It's you can just spread it like that only. It's very elastic and very light in weight. So, whenever it comes to making jewelries or accessories which are not that heavy, I prefer to take deco clay and work with it because it's super lightweight paper pulp kind of a clay which you can just crush and you can get the shape again. So it get back into the same shape again. But the limitation with this clay, which I have noticed, is that a drop of water also could melt the clay. So in a way, it is good that once the flowers are done, they're completely dried, you can actually work on it again, just dip it into water and the clay is again back to the same thing, but the texture is of course changed. So it has some limitations. So this clay is really good for making accessories and hairpins and jewelries and other stuff, which is not that which you don't want that heavy. So deco clay is a kind of clay. This is Thai clay. Now there are different varieties, brands, names of Thai clay available in the market these days. I have tried more than 27 different varieties of Thai clay. And all across the globe, my students keep on sending me, or else if I get something different in any corner of the world, I just ask that person to send it to me. And I have tried a lot of different varieties of Thai clay in that context. So Thai clay is also very elastic and very uh, uh, soft to work with. To make the flowers, we basically need a kind of clay which is very elastic. It should make peak-like formation like this, and it should be that pliable that it could be rolled into thin sheets so that we could make the leaves or the flowers in very thin format. So the petals need to be very thin. So any clay which is very elastic, which gives you that long peak-like formation, just use that clay for making your flowers. Now there are different clays called Shilpakar or molded or natural clay, das clay. There are different varieties of clay in that ways also. Those clays are not for making clay flowers. You can make flowers out of that clay as well, but not suitable to make the kind of flowers as we make. The realistic looking flowers, you won't be able to make these kind of flowers out of that kind of clay. So you need to take Thai clay, or deco clay is also good to work with. So these are the different kinds of clays, and now I'll tell you how to in fact the lamasa clay also. So many students of mine, they ask that is it okay if we make the lamasa clay? And I tell them 100 times that lamasa clay is the best clay to work with. So lamasa clay is something which, or coal porcelain, we call it in general terms. Coal porcelain is really good to work with and to make these kind of small little stuff. In fact, this entire thing has been made out of coal porcelain only. So coal porcelain is also a very good clay to work with. In fact, I have learned all my teachings in coal porcelain only. That time there was no Thai clay. Like I have not worked with Thai clay before that. So the figurines and other stuff, if you see, everything I have made out of my own homemade clay. So this is also a good clay to work with. Uh, Now I'll tell you how to color the clay. Now coloring the clay is the biggest task uh, for beginners who don't know how to color the clay. And for coloring the clay, you can mix in any sort of colors into the clay. So my clay, especially the one which I get, is the clay which takes any sort of color into it. So I'm just going to demonstrate in small chunks about how does the color come when you mix in different varieties of color into the clay. So I'm just going to divide it into small chunks like this, and I'm going to show you different varieties of color. So I'll begin with acrylic color. This is acrylic and Liquitex, as you can see, and this one is Hobby Ideas Fevicryl. I have seen that the bottle colors are diluted. They have water in it. They have more of a water content into it, so they are more liquidy and they are more flowy. So whenever you're using these kind of bottle colored acrylic colors, you should always use lesser quantity of color, and you should be aware of this thing, that when you mix in these colors into the clay is definitely going to be a little softer. So be prepared for that. This is paper, so I'm just going to keep it on a sheet, on a tile piece I had seen here. So I'm just going to show you both the ways. This is the liquid color and that's the the tube color. Now before mixing the colors, we always grease our hands using any cold cream or Vaseline or any sort of good oil. Oil generally I don't prefer. I don't refer also, and I don't ask my students to use it. But if you don't have any option, then you can use a little bit of 2 drops of oil into your palm, and then you can start working on it. Now this is the liquid clay, and I will start pouring the color in. So I'm just adding a little bit of color just to show you how to add color. This is the color I've added to the clay, and I'm just gonna close the lid, keep it aside, and that's the tube color, which I'm gonna add another chunk of clay, just a little bit of color. So both right now you can see, as it is visible, that this is more liquidy and this is not that liquidy. It's a bit solid, if you see. So this is the difference between the bottle colors and the tube colors. So now you just have to keep mixing it. When you keep kneading it, the clay will be colored in the color which you have poured into, and you just have to keep blending, and as you can see, the clay have started taking the color. If you feel that the color is less, then you can add more color anytime. I prefer to make all my clay a little lesser in color, like I put very less color into my clay. So that's the way I do, and I prefer to blend it with some other color rendering over once it is done. Now once the clay is colored, you have to keep it to blend in, because clay is one composition of some materials and color is another composition of some materials. So both of the elements, when they club in together, there may be some chances to spoil the clay texture. So I always color the clay and let it rest for 6 to 7 hours minimum. I generally keep it for 24 hours, but minimum 6 to 7 hours I prefer to keep them to rest, so that all the ingredients, they blend in well together and I don't have any issues later on. So the blue color, the same way you can see I can color the brown clay. And now I'll tell you, I'm not going to mix that because it'll spoil my hands. So now we will work on the sketch pens. So I'll just show you in a small patch of clay how does the sketch pen color comes over the clay. So you can just remove some color into the clay like this. Of course you need to take care of your sketch pen nib or else it may spoil, and you just blend it and your clay will be colored in that shade. Of course the shade will be a little lower because this is not the medium to color. The best color to mix into clay is oil or acrylic. Oil is the best, acrylic is the second best. So as you can see, the clay is colored into light pink. Now if you want, you can keep on adding more color, and this will also be colored. Now I'll show you how to add the food color into the clay. So food color is also one of the mediums where people have, and so many people have asked me question that how can we use the food colors into clay. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of color into the clay. Though I don't like the food colors, but in some project I prefer, I like to use the food colors as well. So the same thing, I'm just gonna grease my hands. Food colors are very dense and they're very thick, so I'm just gonna grease my fingers. And I've used very less color, just a hint of color I've added, not too much. So this is the food color. So as you can see, my clay is amazing. Like I can mix in any sort of color into my clay, and how beautiful this color has come out. This is the food color. Now I'll show you the poster color. That's the poster color. Or else you can use watercolor also. Anything is fine. I need to put the watercolor for some time and show you. So I'm just using the poster color and showing it to you. That's the poster color. I'm just going to take a little bit of color and I'll add it into. Now poster colors are generally too much of water into them, so they're water based. So you need to take a little bit more color, and they become a little matte after they dry. So some projects when we make, there are some projects which require that finish. So you just need to work out on projects and see which color to suit what. But still I would repeat the same thing. Oil colors are the best, and second best are acrylics. So as you can see, the poster colors also mix into the clay like this. Beautiful, beautiful color. So this is the way. And now, last but not the least, I will show you how do we add oil color into it. Oil colors, all my students, they know generally in all my tutorials I put up a small little video to show how to mix in colors. And this is oil color, and the same process I'm going to do. The same process is mixing. Oil colors have oil into them, and they have that sheen, that gloss into that themselves, so they become so natural after drying. When you make for flowers, that flowers also have a sheen and gloss into them. So for making flowers and leaves, I always without any doubt prefer the oil colors. In fact, for figurines as well, but figurines you don't require that sheen, so you may work with acrylics as well. So this was the session, and I have already told you how to pack the clay. Packing, and you should keep it into an airtight container. An airtight container is a kind of a box like this, and you just need to keep it, store it into an airtight container, and your clay will be stored and it won't dry. Also, I would like to add the soft pastels as well. So these are the soft pastels, and I just kept them out and I forgot to tell you guys. So I'll just take out one of the colors and remove a little color into the clay like this. and I will show you how to use the soft pastel. Soft pastels are also amazing, they're beautiful. But yeah, the texture of clay changes, so it may dry faster. So you have to make sure that the clay is well nourished and well moisturized. That's the soft pastel going into the clay. Because these are pigments, this will be colored very nicely. So that's the soft pastels also. I've shown you all different varieties. The same way you can work with different varieties of clay, and you can make your flowers look more realistic. So that's the clay I have colored using different mediums, and now I will be signing off. So uh, this was a small little tutorial, a small little uh, video on how do I color the clay. And whenever you follow any of my tutorial, you'll always find I always give a proportion of 2:3 or 4:5 or different percentage of color to check with the blending of colors. So you have to follow that proportion and start working on it. And thank you so much for joining this video. I will be coming live next month again on the 15th of July, and I hope to see you all again. In case if you have any questions or doubts or any kind of queries, or if you want to buy Thai clay or any sort of queries, you can just put down in the comment section below, and I'll share my phone number also. If in case anybody wants to get connected to me directly, they can WhatsApp me, they can call me, and I'll sort all the queries. So thank you so much for watching this video. Do subscribe to my channel, like, comment and share this video as much as possible, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.